housing is a really big part of everything that we do, and it intertwines with every intersectionality within our governance system, and it's so important. So I wanted to be here because I want to contribute to the solutions.
I'm here because TNG wanted us to have a retreat so we can start working together and working on the housing funding, and hopefully we can move forward and get housing built for all 6 nations.
I have a lot of family members. They're all family members, even in other communities that are struggling, living in poor houses and just not living the way we should.
What I see here is really it's the beginning of figuring out like where we are, and you know we know where we want to go, but it's more or less like how do we get there, and you know how do we support each other and get into the same place.
Good to be in this position, like, you know, as a housing manager, to know that I'm not alone with how I feel. I've been in my position for about 1.5 years, so I thought it was just me.
A lot of renovations that need to be done because we have mold situations that's just on dragging. Homes that are not heated properly. You know, we need these dollars to renovate these houses so our elders and youth, to everybody, to be living safely, right?
Some of the issues that I'm hearing is a lot about transparency. Transparency in decision-making, transparency in process, and relationship building, and capacity building, and all of these things that sometimes when we're in a rush to create something, we don't really think about, and that's not at the forefront of everything that we do because we're in such a rush to get to the end. And we kind of forget that we got to pull people along with us in order for all of us to get to the end together.
A lot of similar issues, overcrowding, miscommunication, you know, just miscommunication between not only TNG but all the other communities. So we're not really relying on each other as much. I think we could rely a lot on each other because each community has got assets that we can build on and we can help each other build on. So just better communication between all communities so we can actually start building each other up to make this next step.
I think one of the main issues is definitely funding. Figuring out how we're gonna keep money flowing through communities. You know, supporting our housing managers that are, you know, on the ground doing the work, as well as making sure that the community members are heard. Because I think a lot of times the frustration that we do hear from the community is, you know, between administration and community, there's not a good communication system.
I think some of the main issues is just, you know, having an opportunity and learning how to best utilize that opportunity as a nation, and where do we go and how do we get there as 6 communities and the nation together, figuring out what that road is like is, you know, it's I don't know if it's difficult or a challenge, but you know, it's a long road between here and there, and there's a lot of things in the way, a lot of variables that we need to consider, and everybody's situation is different from one community to the next, and so we're just trying to figure out the best way to achieve everything. So.
Yeah, I think largely the issues that are cropping up around governance, around communication, around how we effectively work together. And yeah, I think the conversations are, you know, working even within the communities to figure out solutions around that.
We all have the same train of thought on what we want to work together, and we just need to be able to get together and sit at the same table and get it done.
I've learned there are other resources out there, you know, TNG has helped out a lot, you know.
Ability and willingness for us all to work together and to, you know, learn from one another what is our individual challenges, what is our individual successes, and how can we share with one another, how can we help each other.
I think what I'm learning most from the workshops is that if people can respect each other enough and are in a good mood as we are here, we can get a lot done in terms of solving our problems.
Everything that we've been here and learning, I've learned that all the communities are going through the same problems and we all just need to sit there and work together. And our first focus is just to bring our housing authority group and our housing working group together as one to change it so that we can do everything what we need our communities want us to do. So.
Everybody is experiencing the same thing, and that there's so much overwhelm in communities, but we still have people who are dedicated, and it doesn't matter how overwhelmed that they are, they feel this sense of dedication and this sense of urgency that this is something that really needs to be done. And I guess like a sense of loyalty, because you look at how many people are doing these tough jobs, these housing manager jobs in their community. They are community members, or they are from the nation, and that creates that sense of loyalty and that sense of buy-in in that position too, to make sure that you're contributing to your community success.
I think the biggest thing is like, instead of looking at us, we're thinking more about we as a community and as a nation. So I think moving forward, as long as we keep this momentum up, it will work better out for the whole nation.
Yeah, it was interesting to go through each exercise, and because kind of like at the beginning, what I've heard from the rest of the room is, uncertainty, like where this is going, or, what's the point of certain things. But a lot of people said, like at the end of today, like it was cool to see everything come together and, like actually have kind of a result, right? And, it's not really the answers, but it's knowing where to start from that point, right?
My plan is to go back home again and then continue on with our housing journey and continue to figure out where and when the funding continues into our community, and also figuring out where's the resources that we as the Tŝilhqot'in require to achieve our housing aspirations.
Bringing that communication a little bit more together within my community, I think I would definitely like that. So having maybe at least a quarterly meeting between like me, housing committee, band manager, chief, and whoever else is needed in that meeting, just to be on the same page.
Yeah, I plan to bring back just a reassurance that there's things that are being worked on, and things that our community members here were able to start to dig in and resolve.
I want to be able to bring back everything I learned, but to also present it to the group, to the chief and council, and to our members, to let them know that we are working together and that we are doing this. And we have a big picture that we have to look at, and we have to take it down by looking at the smaller picture first and then go to the bigger one.
A clear path, or a clearer path to how we get to where we need to be, and more sustainable decision-making skills, I think. That's something I really heard in the last 2 days, is that there's too many people making decisions, and sometimes those decisions get a little bit convoluted, and things become complicated because there's too many people at the table, but not enough people who have the same goal in mind, and making sure that my team is all on the same page, and that we all know that this is the process, this is how we do it, and that ensures integrity and fairness in our decision making.
I think just a more stronger team. We came here thinking probably one way, but now we're leaving thinking another way, things that we missed or even just kind of overlooked, but now we kind of see a little more clearer picture on which way we want to go.
I plan to bring back just the networking that I was able to achieve here was really great, and seeing the other communities and, hearing a lot of, the struggles and, just what TNG goes through as well as each community, right? So what I plan to bring back is definitely keep that networking open and, you know, just trying to create a good plan and a good foundation for moving forward for Esdela.
I think it's great that all 6 Tŝilhqot'in communities were here. You know, it's brings me back to my grandpa. So my grandpa would always tell me, it doesn't matter if you're from Unisteen, Tŝilhqot'in, Tsidaldel, Tŝilhqot'in, Tšilhqot'in, or Esdela. You know, we are Tŝilhqot'in. We are one of the strongest nations in the world, you know, and people know us for it. So, you know, for us to get together like this and work together, you know, it's amazing.
We received 20 rapid housing from CMHC, and the 6plex we built is just, it was band source funding, so we did that on our own. It was a big decision. What I want to get out of this is I want to see other community members succeed as well too and start building, not in the next 2 years, but in the next short months here. I would like to see this coming spring houses being built in other communities.
For the gathering here, I'm just happy everyone's laughing. I think everyone's been super respectful, honest. I think things are being done in a healthy way, which is the way we want to start and the way we want our planning processes to work. So it's going really well.
Remembering that our people have governed themselves for tens of thousands of years and just indigenizing the current policies and the system that we operate in today, it's so doable. Like, the answers are there, and that's it. The more we learn about our culture and our traditions and the ways of our people, that's what's going to guide us to Stimsteliwa, which is the full human experience.
I feel that this is the first time we've actually sat together and we had all the groups together and TNG here with us too, so I thought it was a great workshop.
The thing I really enjoyed was the last exercise we did about trying to find the answers to all of these questions, these wonderful questions that we had, and realizing that a big piece of what is kind of what pulls everything together is the trust factor between communities and our nation office, and finding ways to kind of build that trust up, and that's going to be really important to all of this work that we do for the future.